Live from the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
Fears of a kidnapping on the 5, a driver spotting a teenager bound and gagged in the back of this car. Good evening, I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Our 10 News reporter Anthony Pura is at the CHP in Vista, where officers just revealed what was really going on.
It's a very strange situation. CHP says it was the teen's family that tied her up and gagged her. Investigators are still questioning them, but it seems that they were trying to get the teen help for an apparent drug problem. Here's video taken earlier this evening. You can see the vehicle pulled off on the road there. This is off the southbound lanes of Interstate 5 near Cannon Road in Carlsbad. CHP says they found that 17-year-old girl in the back seat tied up and gagged, the one that was reported by a passerby on the freeway.
They had a blanket tucked into the rear window, and she was able to signal for help.
Her father and sister were with her. The family is from the San Juan Capistrano area. They told officers that they were taking her to Mexico to a drug treatment facility.
You just can't gag someone and bind them and take them back of a car and take them into a foreign country. That's just not acceptable, and we're trying to sort the details.
Charges are pending, and they could range from a kidnapping to a child endangerment charge. The teen's aunt and uncle showed up here to the CHP offices just a short while ago. They tell us that they had taken her to local drug treatment facilities, but she had escaped twice. CHP says she is now under the custody of Child Protective Services. In Vista, Anthony Pura, 10 News.
That's a bizarre one. Thank you, Anthony. And for breaking news updates, as soon as they come in, you can download our free 10 News mobile app. It is in the App Store. Just search 10 News.
Oh my God.
A crumbling cliff in Solana Beach caught on camera comes just a few weeks after 3 people were killed by a collapse in Encinitas. Our 10 News reporter Matt Boone spoke to the couple who recorded the video about the moment it fell in front of them.
Yeah, there's signs out here warning of these unstable cliffs, and that is definitely still the case. While the bulk of this came down over the weekend, you can see some of these darker streaks on this pile of rocks and sand. That all fell down this evening within the past few hours.
Oh my God.
A Sunday beach stroll became a dramatic reminder of the dangers the bluffs pose for Joe Latier and his wife Nancy.
There's no warnings. It's not like crack, crack, crack of a tree.
Joe says he noticed some sand falling down the cliff, so he pulled out his phone, not expecting what came next.
Within 10 seconds after this thing's going, it starts dropping on it. So I got it just perfect timing.
The area had already been taped off due to several prior spills, so no one was underneath or injured. But Joe says he couldn't help but think of the collapse earlier this month that killed 3 women on Grandview Beach in Encinitas.
The only change now was that after that thing that happened in Encinitas with the 3 women, I was just looking and seeing how much people have learned from that, and it didn't look like there was some people didn't care. Hasn't changed their structure at all, their plan.
Sophia Lowenstein and Crystal Seitz say they walk here often.
We saw the yellow tape and we were like, oh, another one fell.
The recent collapses have made them cautious.
Yeah, the one in Del Mar is like really sketchy. It kind of freaks me out, especially on top. It's like really thin and it goes really close to the train tracks, and then the train comes rushing in and it all vibrates. It's super scary.
Now this collapse only comes about 10 feet off of the actual face of the bluff, but experts warn these collapses can come much further onto the beach. That's why they recommend staying at least 30 feet away. Reporting in Solana Beach, Matt Boone, 10 News.
Matt, thank you. And a couple found murdered inside their Torrey Highlands home was likely killed by their own son. On Friday, police responded to a man identified as the son who jumped from a bridge on the 805. Then on Saturday, officers responded to the couple's home after they didn't make a trip to San Francisco. Their bodies were found. Neighbors tell 10 News they're shocked and they don't know what to tell their children.
Not in a million years, not in this neighborhood. I don't even know how to tell them this because they're going to be really frightened.
And neighbors tell us the son worked nearby and recently moved out of the house, but there were no signs of trouble.
A health alert tonight. A Southern California woman has been diagnosed with West Nile virus. It is the first confirmed human case in Orange County this year. The OC Healthcare Agency reports 12 cases of the virus in the county just last year and 1 death. The disease is passed to humans by infected mosquitoes. Symptoms can include fever, nausea, fatigue, and rashes.
The beaches stayed open today after 3 sharks were spotted by kayakers near La Jolla Cove. Lifeguards searched the area for a few hours after the sighting. They believe the sharks were juvenile soup fins, which are not a danger to people. This shark scare comes 1 week after a sighting in Solana Beach prompted warning signs there, and nearly 2 weeks after a shark attacked a sea lion in Solana Beach. This summer, sharks have also been spotted off Coronado, Del Mar, and Oceanside.
All right, enjoy the cool down while it lasts because things will heat up back up again this week. Angelica Campos is tracking the change, and we're talking the humidity's coming back too.
That's right, a lot of changes this week. We're going to see another warm up taking place tomorrow, and already some of you are feeling the difference tonight by a couple of degrees. 2 degrees warmer in Escondido in comparison to 24 hours ago, and we're expecting the warm up to continue during the day. So here's our futurecast taking you into tomorrow morning. We'll see those temperatures heating up quickly after 6:30. Just a nice chilly start to the morning, and then at noon close to 90 degrees in Ramona, 82 in Alpine, with those temperatures reaching close to 90 degrees. An excessive heat warning also going in effect.
Well, what you really want to do is make sure that people are more prepared.
Congressional candidate Carl DeMaio is revealing his 5-point plan to solve mass shootings. It involves rewarding citizens who take down a shooter. 10 News reporter Travis Rice spoke to DeMaio about the plan, and he spoke to one critic who is disturbed by the idea.
This congressional candidate's proposal comes down to a question.
What do? They can flee, but they also can fight.
Carl DeMaio is running for the 50th district, and he says he believes his Let's Roll Act can help fight against mass shootings.
The reality is that in Poway and in Colorado, we saw heroes step forward, and they stopped the gunman, and they saved lives. And I think that that's really the spirit that we've got to embrace.
His 5-point plan calls for mandatory self-defense curriculum in schools, a national concealed carry permit program, improved background checks, a school safety reserve corps of retired law enforcement or military to patrol schools, and a financial reward for any individual who helps take down a shooter.
We give financial rewards for people who go into military service and are injured. We should also give that same level of monetary reward to heroes who do something extraordinary.
This idea of a prize for somebody who takes down a shooter is horrifying. It just seems that so many things could go wrong with that.
Carol Landale is a former teacher and member of the San Diegans for gun violence prevention. She says she can agree with DeMaio on improved background checks, but wants to keep the firearms out of the classroom.
Defending yourself as a right is one thing, but I have a right to feel safe, and students have a right to feel safe in their classroom.
DeMaio's opposition says he's trying to be a part of the conversation, but the GOP hopeful says he's running for results.
We're talking about coming up with the best ideas to make people more safe and secure. So if they're going to get all upset about offering new ideas, I question whether they're in it to save lives or just to make political points.
Travis Rice, 10 News.
California is taking action to limit deadly police interactions. The state amended the standard for deadly use of force, and Governor Gavin Newsom signed the bill today.
It's one thing to sign a piece of paper, pass legislation. It's another to change hearts and minds, to change culture, to change the way people conduct themselves.
This is one of the strictest use of force laws in the nation. Officers are now only allowed to use deadly force when, quote, necessary under the law. San Diego Assemblymember Shirley Weber co-wrote that bill.
The bill will basically make everyone in California safer. It will not bring back those that we've lost, but we hope and pray that it will prevent those from being lost.
That new legislation will go into effect on January 1st of 2020.
The Trump administration is downplaying a possible recession after a volatile week on Wall Street and an escalating trade war with China. President Trump defended the economy in a series of tweets, blaming the lack of growth on the Federal Reserve Board chairman. But 2020 Democratic hopefuls say the president's policies are the problem.
I don't think his worldview is reflected in the everyday kitchen table issues that families are facing. They're worried about their jobs, they're worried about access to health care.
A new survey of U.S. economists finds 74% fear President Trump's economic policies and they expect a recession by the end of 2021.
Apple CEO Tim Cook met with President Trump for dinner Friday to discuss the impact of tariffs on Apple products. According to the president, Cook argued against imposing those new tariffs that would impact the tech giant's ability to compete with its top rival, Samsung. Mr. Trump told reporters Sunday that Cook made, quote, a very compelling argument. President Trump recently delayed implementation of the tariffs on some tech products until December the 15th.
And President Trump's former White House communications director, Anthony Scaramucci, is putting together a coalition to stop the president from being reelected.
I'm in the process of putting together a team of people that feel the exact same way that I do. This is not a never Trump situation. This is not just screeching rhetoric. This is, okay, the guy's unstable. Everyone inside knows it. Everyone outside knows it. Let's see if we can find a viable alternative.
Scaramucci recently withdrew his support for the president. President Trump responded on Twitter tonight, calling Scaramucci, quote, a highly unstable nut job who worked for the administration for 11 days.